Oh, hello, and welcome to Adente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the Stands for Evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have Dreams of Inheritance as an appetizer. And for the main course, Sins of the Father.
And one hell of a main course it is.
Yeah, it is. So, Dreams of Inheritance and Sins of the Father, they are Wicker Saga stories by Shadow Swimmer 77. You can check them out as well as the other Wicker Saga stories on creepypasta.wiki. So, a little behind the scenes, Shadow Swimmer contacted us a while back and suggested that we cover Dreams of Inheritance, which was earlier down the roster than Sins of the Father, but we because it's such a short story, we should cover it alongside Sins of the Father because there is a connection between the two, and it's also just so damn short. It's a micropasta basically.
Oh, geez, Father's Love is right after that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we decided to have an appetizer before the main course this episode. But yeah, so I suppose we should go into our initial recommendations. I don't have a single. I'll be honest. I don't know if I would recommend Dreams of Inheritance by itself or not. But I would obviously recommend it with Sins of the Father. And for Sins of the Father, I will give a recommendation.
So I am going to recommend Dreams of Inheritance and not recommend Sins of the Father.
How fucking
interesting.
Yeah. I am okay. Is it because it was nice and short and then Sins of the Father it's too damn long?
Yes.
I guess
partially.
stay tuned to find out.
I suppose we'll have to see. And Gamer.
But yeah, for me, they both read well, so I recommend both. I'm extremely curious what has swayed Mikey to the negative side of the fence so much.
Yeah, what hill is he about to die on?
I'm open to having this ruined for me.
I'm not, honestly.
Well, the way I see it is like I'd rather accept the possibility than deny the possibility and then be super depressed because of it.
I guess that is a healthy way of looking at contrasting views rather than my flamboyant, like bombastic, like how fucking dare you? Yeah, that's fair.
You two are on separate hills, prepared to die on them, and I'm in the middle. I'm like, we'll find out. Actually, no, I'm on your hill, but I'm not up there with you. I'm like halfway up.
Gamer's just there, just like, I'm in danger.
Yeah.
If you're in the crossfire, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Do 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 wah.
Nice.
All right, I will. Okay, so yeah, we got a recommendation, a non-recommendation, and then a recommendation as well. So 2 recommendations and one non-recommendation. So let's see why we have these opinions and dive into these stories, starting with the rundown. So for our appetizer, Dreams of Inheritance sees a man who we learn is Thomas Wicker's father from our main course, has a dream where he kills his grandmother and inherits her wealth, but the old lady rises from the dead, and he then wakes up from this dream and comes to the decision to perform the deed for real, walking to his grandmother's room with a thick pillow and a sense of deja vu. Finn for the appetizer. And then we get our main course. So the main story is in fact 2 interwoven narratives, one in 1902 through the journal entries of Thomas Wicker, and the other is set in the present day, in quotes, As a first-person present tense perspective. I knew I was going to get that wrong the first time I tried that. Of Mr. Marks of Marks Pharmaceuticals, which has sort of just been a corporate entity that's been present throughout a bunch of the other Wicker Saga stories. In Wicker's narrative, we read several entries that detail his father's strange death at the hands of the demonic entity known as Creed, who offers Wicker a deal that has run through Thomas's family up till his father, who, despite loathing his son, apparently chose to withhold the deal for the sake of him. Thomas decides to decline the offer and even fight back against Creed and his all-mother mistress, though there is quite a conflict between them, which ends with a butler devoured, Creed shot with a sanctified bullet, and Thomas propelled into transcendence, learning the truth of the Wicker Saga universe. In this truth, he finds out that the All-Mother is a parasitic eldritch horror leeching off the universe. She is the mother to all the monstrosities in the world, but despite this all-consuming darkness engulfing reality, there are sources of light fighting back across time. Thomas is then sent back to his proper time and space and endeavors to find and help rally the forces of light against the dark. I'm sure this will go splendidly for him, he says sarcastically. In the present day narrative of Mr. Marks, we see his perspective of the events from the story A Bad Night, where Detective Monahan infiltrated the grounds of a Marks pharmaceutical facility in the search of a girl who was taken for experiments. These events were a few years after the story Father's Love, and it's which in that story sort of gave us the origin as to like how Marks got involved with Mr. Creed, or with Creed and all that kind of stuff. And it seems that Mr. Marks is regretting his decision in that story. What with his wife now a soulless vegetative body, and his daughter is cured, seemingly, but also now a demon masquerading as a 7-year-old girl. Through secret machinations, Mr. Marks had in fact planned for the detective to arrive on the premises to and see the horrors Marks Pharmaceuticals was conducting on children, so that he could expose the company and free himself of the deal he had made with Creed, one way or the other. Things play out much as they did in A Bad Night, but we find that Monahan is not killed by Mr. Marks, but haphazardly spared, and the mutated children, or the mutated child abominations, are wiped out. As Mr. Marks has the wounded detective rescued and removed from the premises, leaving only his wife's body, his demonic daughter, and himself on site, he goes with Plan B, confronting Creed with a detonator that destroys the facility. And while it doesn't kill Creed, Mr. Marks, what remains of his wife, and the demonic Rebecca are consumed by the flames in a final shot at redemption. Finn. Yeah, that was Dreams of Inheritance and Sins of the Father, in a nutshell. So, I suppose we'll move on to Everyone Tolerates the Graham Inquisitions! At this point, I do have a couple. So, I will start with this one here.
I was muted today. I noticed at the end of your rundown, you didn't mention how there's like a title drop and then credits.
You're right, there was, yeah.
Yeah.
So, onto my first Grammar Inquisition. I write here in desperation, hoping that perhaps putting ink to paper will allow me to work through the snarl my thoughts have become of late, to arrive upon some course of action that will provide the most desirable outcome. Okay, so a little run-on, just a smidge. But also, I think you want gnarl or something instead of snarl. Then again, while the general, like with the general meaning of snarl is aggressive sounds emitted from either a person or a beast. The root word of snarl, I found out, is Germanic and can be meant as like a rattle. So it might still work because like if you have it like through the rattle, my thoughts have become of late. Because like you like your brain's rattled, like that kind of sound, like
Yeah.
that thing. But yeah, I just went like a deep dive on like the etymology of snarl. But yeah, I feel for me like snarl didn't seem like a good fit. I think like gnarl might have been the better one because like a gnarl is like a knot or like a kind of like a mess of things, like a bramble. But that's just I digress. I'll move on. This is so at the end of this journal entry, which is what this where the previous quote was from. We get so it's like this from journal entry of Thomas Wicker, and then it's like 5th of March 1902, and then we get like his entry, and then at the end of that, so then we get this. It's like at the end of that we get this. Either way, those were the last words Father ever spoke to me. Marx Industries, the present. Sir, there's been a disturbance. Okay, so in the story, we're dealing with with an interwoven narrative between like two character perspectives, basically. And journal entries from Thomas Wicker in 1902 and Mr. Marx during the present. So basically like sometime in the here and now, the modern day. But the way it's tackled, or like the way they transition between the two is too subtle. This is again a sort of an issue I think we all have here on the show with the formatting of the Creepypasta wiki, where like Marx Industries, the present, is italicized, and that's not a good enough separator.
Is it italicized?
Yeah, it is. As is all the mentions of like the journal of Thomas Wicker, and then like the date.
Oh my god! I was staring at them. I'm like, it's just the same font, right? They didn't do anything to it.
Not to beat a dead horse again, I do feel horizontal dividing line would do much better for like switching between scenes,
or if they have the option for bolding and underlining.
Yeah, which they should, or they do.
But no one uses them.
No. But yeah, it's like we're not mad at the authors. We're mad at the fonts that are used that make italicized useless.
I need to find out what font this is so I can like know that I hate that font.
I'm pretty sure it's just Arial.
Fuck Arial then.
Which is
sorry to anyone named Arial out there.
Fuck Arial. Now I want a T-shirt just like fuck Arial, and then just like a despondent like what the fuck like Ariel the mermaid.
Yeah.
But like have and then have the font also be in Arial, and then have Arial be in italics just for like
of course.
Final fight. But I digress. Yeah, just that I feel like this story, like it was going between the two like character POVs, and that's fine. But the way it was like segueing was a little too subtle, and like needed to be like there needed to be a proper like have like again like a literal dividing line between them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like when I'm reading something and I want to refer back to a previous chapter, that's hard to find.
Oh, I know. I just tried that. I tried looking for like, all right, where's Marx Industries the present? Oh my god! Like I was like it just never ended. And okay, I think it's there. There it is. It is kind of separated by like a larger by a thicker space.
It's not.
Paragraphs.
It's the same space that's in between paragraphs.
I was gonna say it, but the problem is like it that only works if the other paragraphs are also like large, which some of the time they aren't. Like sometimes it's just like a single line of sentence because it's quotes, and then it goes into like Marx Industries present. So.
Yep. So personally, like I said before, I would do bold and underlined, or if they have an option for justification, justify it in the center.
Yeah,
have it sitting in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was justified.
Nice.
Sometimes I do wish we were like a visual show so that I could just like throw in a meme. I was like, it was justified, like from the show.
I mean, if this ever goes up on YouTube, you could do that.
Or
but,
you know,
effort.
if anybody out there wants to like just caption certain like bits of our show and like make animations of them, like other people, like other fans do of podcasts,
Mhm.
like we're not going to be mad. In fact, we're going to be like immensely grateful and like excited to see
Absolutely.
those. But I digress. I will move on.
Oh, and one last thing about the chapter titles, actually, before you move on.
Yes.
Having all of the Mark's chapters named the exact same thing is also a hassle to deal with, because like a couple of times I'm like, okay, I need to refer back to something from one of the Mark's Industries one, but which one was it? Because they're all named the same.
Let me just use the find option. Oh shit! There's like there's like half a
4
dozen versions. Yeah, I was just like 4 or 6 like versions of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankful. Actually, doing Control F for Mark's Industries kind of helped a little bit to kind of get a gauge of where I am in the story, because I know. Because when I do that, I at least have some chapter marks in the scroll bar on the right for like a rough idea of which Mark's Industries one I'm on, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like in my notes, I'm labeling them as like Mark's Industries the present -1 -2. I'm treating them like SCP entities.
Yes. All right. Now that we've beaten that horse thoroughly.
One more, actually. 2 of the Wicker chapter entries are also named the same thing too, because they happen on the same day.
Right. Yeah.
Which is also confusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not confusing when you read it. It's just it's confusing in our format where I have to take notes on things and refer to the separate chapters. It's confusing in that regard, not through normal reading, because normally you just read it and you'd be done.
See, I'm gonna be the outlier, I guess. Today is like I didn't do that. I didn't like organize my thoughts by the different like marks, the present or like the Wicker entries.
Of course you didn't.
I'm
I went through
sorry.
like a couple of chapters. I'm like, you know what? He's probably going to be like, well, so clearly you guys had your stuff organized by chapter, right? And I was going to be like, no. And I was going to be like, oh, this is going to be annoying. So I decided, well, I might as well just organize them then. So then no one can make fun of me and complain. So here I am. And I'm probably the
It's
only one who
okay.
did it.
I'm now the asshole here. Unless, Mikey, did you do that?
I didn't go by chapters because my notes are more generalized than.
Yeah. Damn it.
Gamer, it's okay. I am still the asshole because I had thought to like maybe like talk like mention to you guys before this recording, like maybe I should let them know like if we're gonna do that or not, and I like just didn't.
Realistically, so. I don't care. And also, the way that I did it this time was way less of a pain in the ass than the way I've been doing it previously, where like I section out like grammar and notes for chapter 1, then grammar and notes for chapter 2. Now I'm just doing my grammar list, and beside each numbered one, I put which chapter it's from.
Fair.
So
yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. And then we wonder why people like know our show because of the Grammar Inquisition.
I mean, yeah. Well, because most podcasts just like kind of talk about it and that's about it, but we're also attempting to help make the story better.
Yeah.
Whether it's through grammar or otherwise.
Fair. All right. Now that the horse's like chest is caved in from all the kicking, let's move away from that horse because it's starting to ooze out.
Fair.
And I'll move on to the next thing.
I thought it was a licorn.
I mean, it's only a licorn when we're talking about a MM Pratt story and like the
okay, gotcha.
Because that was a mention there. Anyway, moving on.
Please. Actually, one more thing.
Are you serious?
No, you can move on.
So, his voice echoes from some far off. No, hang on. Okay, so here's my next one. His voice echoes from some far away off. No, his voice echoes from some far way off. Even after my view of him has been lost. Okay, so I feel like it should either be from somewhere far away or from somewhere far off. Not from some far away off, even after.
Or maybe just putting a comma in, because then it would be his voice echoes from some far way off. No, that still sounds weird.
No, yeah, it's supposed to be like from some far away, not even far away.
Yeah.
Or somewhere far. Yeah, no, yeah, it's got to have that away, like that A in there, at least. Because I actually no, yeah, actually even that's the third one. Like, his voice echoes from somewhere far. Oh, no, from some far away off. No, that doesn't. No, that does not work. Okay.
His voice echoes from somewhere far away.
Yeah, either that one or
The word "off" is making it weird.
Well, no, because I have heard like somebody like, oh, it's from some far off place, like from somewhere far off. Like that's
Yes, but you don't say far away off. You say far away or far off.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like it's one or the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, we're just like being really pedantic and like nitpicky today. we got our picks, our pickaxes out. We're just like picking at the nicks.
Yep, absolutely. That's what we do.
We're all forming Nick here, just like picking away at the grammar mines.
Well, I mean, this is like clearly a really short story, so we need to mine it for as much as we can, right?
Yeah, it's not like
content.
Yeah, exactly. Like, anyway, we'll move on. I moved down a series of twisting hallways until at least reaching one that dead ends at a thick oak door fitted with a cutting-edge electronic lock. So I feel like it should be going down the twisted hallway until at last reaching one that dead ends at a thick oak door. Yeah. Then the next thing I have here, this is when I actually learned a new word. And yet, through some trick of my eyes, the interior of the room I currently observe is somehow shadow steeped, as if the man-made light from the fixtures above was being consumed by living, vociferous darkness. Vociferous, adjective, so loud or insistent as to compel attention. That's interesting. Learn a new word.
I forgot to look that word up.
Yep.
I read that word. I'm like, I don't know what that word means. Anyways.
Yep, moving on.
I normally look those up.
Yeah. But I'll move on to the next thing I have. Oh, my dear Mr. Wicker, you should not have done that, Creed sneered. Now look at the unpleasantness you've caused yourself. He bent down, gripping my hair and lifting me into the air to face him. My entire weight painfully supported by my scalp. I think there needs to be an end quote after yourself. Otherwise, Creed is just narrating his actions in like a really weird way. Because so like it's like, oh my dear Mr. Wicker, like quote, start quote, oh my dear Mr. Wicker, you shouldn't have done that, end quote. Creed sneered, start quote. Now look at the unpleasantness you've caused yourself. Then there should be an end quote, but there isn't. So then I just kept reading it in Creed's voice.
You bent down, gripping my hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the rest of the story is in quotes now, or is quoted by him.
Actually, it isn't, because the next the next sentence after the quote I have, there is actually another quotation. So it does. Actually...
Yes, but the previous one didn't close, so that is him quoting something else, like verbally.
Don't make this harder than it has to be.
The whole story is quoted by Creed now.
Yeah. I mean, there was a mention that, like, is Creed omnipresent or omnipotent? Spoilers, no, he's not. But I'll move on to the next thing. No time to waste. I snap the cylinder open and dump out the expended shells, fumbling to feed new rounds into the chamber from the box in my pocket. Not to gun fondle and continue nitpicking or continue picking at the nits, but would it be shells? Is it a Taurus judge?
I mean,
actually, it might be, given how powerful it was in downing child monstrosities.
You,
Also,
you can
I
kind of refer to bullets as shells. Like, I don't know.
or like, but it's like he mentions like he like, expended shells, fumbling to feed new rounds into the chamber.
Well, no, that's fine. You're
Yep.
opening
Was
the
it?
chamber.
Okay.
You're extracting the empty shells, which are like the shell casings, the casings of the
Yeah.
bullets, and you're inserting new rounds. A round is like a live bullet.
All right. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
So actually,
The shell is the metal casing that holds the bullet.
Okay. So this is sort of just like me learning a thing about gun fondling. Right.
Kind of.
Yep.
But regardless, if you're picking up a pistol bullet and like going to load it in, it does seem weird calling it a shell, saying like I'm loading this shell in.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. You're not wrong.
Okay.
But also, as he himself has mentioned, like he knows how to shoot a gun, but he's not like awesome at it. So his own vernacular might be wrong on it.
That's true. Yeah. Also, I had meant to check the story "A Bad Night" to see what because I see if see if Detective Monahan had like described what kind of gun he was bringing, because it is his gun that in this story. And I was curious, like if he mentions like it's like either like just a really powerful revolver, or like actually, or just like gives it like a proper like name or something like that. But I did not go and check that, so that's my bad.
What story was it from?
A Bad Night. Are you checking?
You continue. I will casually scroll and search.
Okay. I'll move on to the next thing I have here then. I'm still tightening the tourniquet when the man falls silent, mercifully drug into unconsciousness by the pain and blood loss. I'm pretty sure it should be mercifully dragged, not drug. I don't think drug means anything other than like a pharmaceutical pill or like medicine or something. I think this is like a hanged sort of situation where I think it's supposed to be dragged, not drug. And my last.
I'm also Googling that now.
Yeah, and
drag versus drug.
Okay, fine. It's not drugged; it's drug.
Yes.
Yeah. And my last grammar acquisition. He trails off when, as he processes the carnage, the blown apart pieces of the children littering the ground. I feel like you need to remove that when there at the beginning. So it's like he trails off as he processes the carnage, the blown apart pieces of the children littering the ground. Because it's just not necessary, like the word when there. But that is the end of my grammar acquisition. Mikey, the E stands for evil.
Well, I have let's see here. A single butt from Dream of Inheritance.
Okay.
So it's technically a conjunction butt story.
We're not. It's too short. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Just. We'll save the segment intro for when you inevitably do it for Sins of the Father.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
Gamer. You can't see it, but I'm like looking at you like, really?
You have a compass bearing of where my house is, and you're like side-eyeing me in that direction.
Really?
From your house.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't even need a compass. I knew exactly what direction to look. Anyway.
All right. So it's but from where I stand, I can see a twisting hand clutching the armchair, hear labored breathing crackling from its chest.
Wow, spooky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That honestly could just be like a one sentence creepypasta.
Yeah, that's like the one creepy aspect of the whole thing. It just happened to be the one that starts with a word that probably shouldn't, like it's, ands, or buts, because there's always better words to use.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything further, Mikey? Perhaps in Sins of the Father?
I have a conjunction for Sins of the Father.
Shocker! All right.
And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot, doot.
The Journal of Thomas Wicker, 5th of March, 1902.
It's been a month since the maid found father's body, but only a week since my life was profoundly changed. my understanding of the waking world ripped apart as irreparably as the shattering of a pane of glass. And now I face a decision whose potential repercussions may well destroy me. But I am running out of time. It started, as many things do, in a small way. But whereas most would laugh it off as simple paranoia, nothing at all could dissuade Father from this feeling. It was not long before he ordered the servants move his enormous oaken desk from the study into his bedchamber, the room in which he would subsequently remain until he died. It must have been sometime in the last week of January that Anthony, our head butler, came to me begging that I intercede on Father's behalf. Or, better yet, find the strength to murder my beloved Miriam on your cursed entrance into this world. But he did not, and they did not. Mark's Industries, the present. And that constitutes a disturbance? So he's entering the grounds then. It's a deep game I'm playing, the stakes incredibly high. It's not James's fault that I've been slowly having him shift where his teams pick up test subjects to more and more significantly populated areas, praying someone would finally take notice. But to do that, to ensure there is no doubt in anyone's mind exactly what is going on here, I'll have to hurt even more people. And you believe he'll come back tonight? It's not going to be nice. And it's not going to be pretty. And put a call to everyone who's not totally critical on the second and third shifts to take the night off. But, sir, that will let Monaghan get onto the facility uninhibited. But no one else knows about this. Understood? But not without bringing at least one other person into our trust, or you and I carrying out the deed ourselves, which would open us to exposure. But I'm running out of time. And please do stop being so intentionally obtuse. And though I'd make the choice over and again, it still pains me to know that I'm the one responsible for putting her here. It's a risk. Creed could be listening in. But I speak in whispers, and I'll go absolutely mad if I don't share my secrets with someone. The Journal of Thomas Wicker, 6th of March, 1902. And then there is the strange nature of things that have occurred since then. Their wholly uncanny nature almost insisting I get my thoughts in order before attempting to annotate them here. It was upon that very bed that Lucy was sleeping when she was awoken by most dreadful screaming, and weighing down his chest was the enormous bulk of Maximus, awful fangs buried in Father's unprotected throat, an exit wound the size of a man's fist still pumping blood from the beast's torso. It was in such a state, drunk, stoned, and half-naked, in the middle of a very exclusive whorehouse, that the devil found me. And what? And Creed was not timid. But in this case, I felt it would be the most efficient means of restoring your faculties to a point we can hold productive conversation. And the easiest way to dispel any doubts you may have regarding my veracity or ability. Mark's Industries, the present. And as I do every time, I reply with a lie. And yet, through some trick of my eyes, the interior of the room I currently observe is somehow shadow-steeped, as if the man-made light from the fixtures above was being consumed by a living, vociferous darkness. But from the deep rises an enormous sea serpent, a leviathan that dwarfs the tiny ships, brushed aside from its glistening blue and green coils. Its enormous mouth, full of double and triple rows of sharp fangs, is shown open wide, as though it means to consume the world. It is the third that literally takes my breath away. It is new since my last visit. And the prisoner, but bored. But Daddy, it's a surprise. Because if it's not, I'll be very cranky. But he said if you did, then I'd get to play with you. The Journal of Thomas Wicker, 7th of March, 1902. It is over. And yet, it has just begun. Yet, it happened. I know deep in the marrow of my bones that it did. But no, it couldn't balance. And despite the mutual hatred between Father and myself, the fact remained that we were blood. And so I prepared. It was an ancient dueling pistol, a 10-inch flintlock, and had been in my family for many years. Because a casual observer, seeing your actions earlier this evening, would not reach such a conclusion, and pulled the trigger. And in that moment, it ceased to be my world. Mark's Industries, the present. And rather than auto-set the cages as we discussed, I thought it would be better to have you tell me when to release them manually, since you're having me hang back here. But now my time is up. So rather than insist the Bensons tell no one of their plans, as I'd originally intended, I instead ordered them to inform Mr. Monahan his services were no longer required. And so far it seemed to be paying off. But she's fine now? It's the only way I can possibly extricate myself from this mess with my life, if not my freedom, while still possibly retaining the few bare scraps of my soul that I have left. And where is the damned platform? And so I have, Chase. But now I allow myself the barest glimmer of hope. It feels as though my heart stops beating, and then the moment breaks. And remember, I am always watching. But there must be a way, and it strikes me. The Journal of Thomas Wicker, 7th of March, 1902. And I saw, but in no instance, not from the opioid-driven highs of the East, nor mushroom-fueled spirit journeys of the West, had I ever experienced anything like this. It emanated from nowhere, and terminated at an equally indefinable point, an aberration in the nothingness surrounding it. And I knew that here, in this state of higher being, I could witness any piece of that reality I should choose. It was revolting to me, all of that death to maintain the bloody covenant upheld by my family for generations. And now, as he lay upon his bed, sleepless and staring, Father contemplated murdering me. It would have been easy, and yet he hesitated. But I was not that man. So, despite his hatred, Father could not bring himself to kill me because of the deep-seated familial love he felt. And as I was an unworthy heir, neither still could he allow me to learn of the bargain and in turn murder him. It was this impasse that Father struggled with until at last the inevitable yet unthinkable conclusion was reached. If he could not kill me and could not allow me to kill him, the only possibility was to break the covenant and let come what may. And in that moment I saw, impossibly, something in the darkness shift, its size and scope dwarfing the entire light of reality, the blackness of its being even darker than the void. It was a spider-like monstrosity, majestic and terrible, its many limbs piercing the light, simultaneously feeding upon the universe, while injecting its spawn into it. But at the end of the beam of light, its final termination point before disappearing into the darkness, my God, it glowed like the brightest sun in the heavens. It would seem that time itself exists simultaneously, and the presence of individual moments, the mere byproduct of humanity's inability to perceive everything at once. But there is nothing to be gained from such a fatalistic attitude. But through my particular experience, I came to realize there exists a great number of beasts, both foul and fantastic, creatures I would have not long ago attributed as simple myths of a bygone era. It matters not. It is in this pursuit to stymie her and her accursed children that I will find my life's purpose, and perhaps in doing so, I will someday become the man my father would have wished. Marx Industries, the present. It will perhaps only gain me a moment, enough to throw him off his game, but that will be all I'll need. But here we are. It is time to begin, before they start to eat. Or you need me to help you with that too, while I'm bleeding out? And unfortunately, he's going to have to wait here a bit longer for help to arrive. It's not perfect, but hopefully it will do. But there's been a change of plans. But you're the boss, so I never wanted to say anything. It's all right, James. It's all right. But I thought, it's really over then? It's all wired? It all seems a lifetime ago. But, or be eaten by the children, whichever came first, if that's what you mean. It's a monster. It's amazing what can be accomplished with the right knowledge and experience. It was a relatively easy matter for him to take the detonators and apply them to a few key areas in the compound, vats of chemicals in the factory, the gas line in the house, and so forth, so that with one simple click of a detonator, I have the ability to turn my life's work into a blazing inferno. It's no matter. So, yes, even when the flaming roof falls on top of us, the sweet smell of something like burning pork beginning to mix with the stench of sulfur, the pain is nothing compared to the agony my soul has been in
for these last few years. Finn.
Okay. I've got notes based on that. So my notes for the conjunction junction based off of what you the its ends or buts reading of the story. This is the context I got. So we start with the past. Father is dead, but then alive again, and giving orders, but then but then is going to be killed again. Some of this is dialogue, so whatever. But then we go back to we go to the present. Also, because there's no like mention of like Mr. Marks really in any of this, it sounds like it's still Thomas. So it's the same character from in both the past and the present. And Thomas is an immortal, and his father is undead and needs to be put down again. Then back in the past, Lucy, my dog, rip. Sorry, I know other people have that name, but like it's a fresh wound. So like,
Yeah.
like when Mikey like mentioned like Lucy up there, it was like what? Also, Thomas was given immortality apparently by Creed, who has powers. Then we go back to the present. There's several sea serpents being kept in this facility. And the third one is breathtaking. Like it's just so beautiful. Also, the way you said this line, but daddy.
Yeah, that was weird. Honestly, it was very weird how you said that.
Yeah. Also, again, a lot of dialogue, so like give it a pass. But then we go back to the past. Speaking of Thomas's first attempt to kill his undead father. Then back in the present, he has a plot to stop being immortal after killing his undead father in the present. But then we go back to the past. Thomas learns the truth of his family, his immortality, and his father's death, or his father's undeath. And the plot from the present, the plot that is established in the present is that he has to somehow kill the spider mother that in order to stop his immortality and his father's undeath. Also, it's air, not hair. Like H-E-I-R is pronounced with a silent H.
Yeah.
just hey, if we're able to like nitpick like somebody else's writing, I'm able to nitpick our own like pronunciations.
Well, what do you mean?
How dare you, sir? That wasn't even the proper thing of that. Anyways, moving on. And then finally, in the present, the plan is to blow up everything, and that is one way to stop undeath and immortality. That's what I got from your conjunction junction. I think I am just going to start have conjunction junction notes, like a section in my own like in my Google Doc, and just start typing things like that come up as you're doing these bits. So
It's probably the smart way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes weird side stories that don't actually happen in the story happen through this section where Mikey grabs all the sentences in a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, because there's always better words to use.
Unless it's dialogue.
Yeah, but that doesn't get a pass. At least for him, it does not get a pass.
Yes, yeah. Again, one of the many hills that Mikey dies on.
Yes.
So, Gamer, what do you got?
Well, first, before I even get to the Grammar Inquisition, his revolver from a bad... Its name was Cheryl. It's a Colt 357, and it's 6 shots. So I'm assuming in this story, he brought a different revolver with him that wasn't Cheryl, because it's an 8-shot revolver.
Oh, a discrepancy between...
Well, people can own more than one gun.
No, but like this was pulled from like his person. So I guess maybe he had like 2 guns and like...
That's what I'm saying. People can have more than one gun.
That's fair, yeah. But possible indiscrepancy between the gun details.
Possibly, yeah. I was hoping it was like...
better of you. No, kidding.
I was hoping that in A Bad Night wasn't going to say specifically how many cartridges it held, so I could just say, oh, whatever. I can't... Like, I was searching on the internet trying to find a Colt revolver that had 8 shots, and I couldn't find it, but I'm like, if it doesn't say it in the story, it's fine. But literally on the same line, it says the Colt 357 was a thing of beauty, and he did a quick check to make sure each of her 6 cartridges were loaded. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Damn. Yeah. Shit.
Yes. Either way, that is out of the way.
Yep.
I can close all those tabs from me doing research. Okay. Now on to the actual grammar here. Let's see. I'll try to speed through this a little bit. It was not long before he ordered the servants move his enormous oaken desk from the study to his bedchamber. I feel like it should be ordered his servants to move his enormous oaken desk, not just servants move his desk.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Do you disagree? It sounds like you're disagreeing, even though you're saying yes.
Like, I agree, but I also like it. It could also, I could also just give that a pass. Like, it's fine the way it is.
So me saying, I'm going to order you to move my... Well, hang on. Saying it in that context sounds right. It was not long before he ordered the servants move his enormous oaken desk.
Yeah, like that is...
It just sounds weird.
Yeah, like it does sound weird, like right off the hop, but like it does also work like as a sentence.
We'll agree to disagree, and I'll move on.
Yeah.
Dealing with a problem, one that had found its way to my doorstep while fulfilling my obligations to you and your mistress, I might add. That's a quote. Sorry, I should have led with that. His eyes flashed dangerously. Do not presume to blame myself or the All-Mother for your failings, Mr. Marks. So the use of myself in there sounded kind of off to me. I feel like it would seem more natural if he said, do not presume to blame me or the All-Mother, instead of do not presume to blame me or myself. I don't know. It just sounded weird to me.
Okay.
Because if he's saying like blame myself, it sounds like he is talking about blaming himself, but it's not. It's someone else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would sound better as me, in my opinion. So my next one. Fully awake, she could discern that the shouting was accompanied by a fierce howling and barking. Maximus, apparently locked in Mortal Kombat with person or entity unknown. So clearly he should be locked in Mortal Kombat with a K.
I'd be clear,
I don't know. Yeah, obviously.
I mean, like, obviously you're not being critically silly at all.
No, why would I do that? Especially when it's game related, no.
Because poor literacy is cool with K.
With a K.
Sorry, and
This
that's
is true.
K-E-W-L.
Mm-hmm. Cute. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Weeping from fear, Lucy continued to struggle with the unyielding handle, the screams growing higher in pitch, now accompanied by the wet ripping noises of the hound mauling some unfortunate individual. The cries of agony became choked as the beast found the soft spot in the hollow of the neck, until the sharp report of a pistol caused all sound to cease. Lucy drew back from the noise of the gunshot. So, I like this whole scene and everything, but like, just with her like describing what she was hearing while whatever was happening in the other room. But I feel like the added detail of the beast found a soft spot in the hollow of the neck was a bit too specific for her to just gauge from hearing it through a door.
Yeah.
Like, how would she know?
Like, I guess it's like, oh, it's like, oh, because like that, like, because like the creature's bit down into that like hollow where like where the air is coming through. But like, yeah, that seems like more of like a like post-mortem sort of like diagnose or like kind of post-mortem description of like, oh, like the creature like must have bit into the hollow of his neck to like properly wound him and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I can kind of agree with you on that. Like it is, it's one step too far of a detail.
Because like this section, was this based on what she told everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this was just the narrator, like just observing the situation happening in real time, okay. Which I guess it kind of half is, because it's
kind of a deduction. In a way, it could be like a deduction of like what transpired, like based off the noises she was hearing, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
it's technically fine the way it is. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, like the scene, like the what went down is technically being told to us posthumously, so those extra details do make sense, but also it's not exactly probably what she would have said, because she wouldn't have had that much like diagnosis of the of the events. So
Yep, for sure.
again, the answer is yes and no.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Anyways, moving on.
Yep.
The left wall, however, is actually a series of windows, each looking into a room measuring exactly 15 by 15. I know this because they were built specifically for my specifications. The hall extending the length of a football field. My destination lies at the end. So, when I read that, I was kind of confused on the scale of this a bit, which is odd considering it just gave very specific scale measurements. Because, basically, at first I saw it as a hallway with windows on the left that all looked into another room, which was 15 by 15.
Yeah.
So in doing so, the hallway itself is about 15 feet long. And all the windows on the left side of the room are all looking into another room that is 15 feet long.
Okay.
But then it says it's as long as a football field, which made me think, is the 15 by 15 feet the size of each window that is looking into the room, and the room itself is as long as the football field? But no, later on it does mention that the rooms being cells, as in multiple. So the error is actually my assumption that all the windows were looking into the same room when it said each looking into a room, quote unquote, is what it said.
Yeah.
So for clarity, maybe it should say like each looking into its own room.
Yeah.
Because like right off the bat, you would know there's a window it's looking into a room. There's another window it's looking into a different room.
Yep. No,
because it took me a little while to realize the actual full visual of that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And that's about all I have.
Now that we've done the lengthy grammar acquisition, which I guess is representative of how lengthy this story was.
Yeah.
This is a pretty long story. We now move on to the actual thoughts. So I'm going to start with this one here. For a certainty, the monster held no affection for me. Our first meeting involved a lot of low rumbling growls on his part, a rapid removal from the vicinity on mine. Don't you mean snarl on his part? You know, just a little bit of a callback from the grammar acquisition.
Nice.
You know, like it was so long ago, I understand if you forgot.
Yeah, you might have to remind me.
Yeah. And then the next thing I have is I had to keep my strategy to myself, lest everything be lost. It's not James's fault that I've been slowly having him shift where his teams pick up test subjects to move or to more and more significantly populated areas, praying someone would finally take notice. And so like I started reading this part, I was like, is Mr. Marks playing fucking 4D chess here? Like he planned to get caught? Like, and then we get an update. Apparently so. Or at least he himself is responsible for the Marks pharmaceutical scandal alluded to in other Wicker Saga tales. Oh my God, it was an inside job. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting because like after we've read like a bunch of these other Wicker Saga stories that like bring up the Marxist pharmaceutical scandal and like how it like a lot of like jobs got laid off after like a big fire or some kind of like incident there or at one of their facilities, and then we're finally basically getting like what that scandal was all about and like or what that that situation or what that problem was with the pharmaceutical company, and and then even like because. Again, like reading A Bad Night, like Mr. Marks was like portrayed as like this villainous guy who's like experimenting on children. And he still is, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But it turns out it was all intentional to get caught so that he can try and get out of this deal with the devil one way or the other. And I was like, it's like, this guy's like pretty goddamn like cunning here. Like, or he's trying to be like pretty goddamn cunning.
I don't understand like how all this would get him out of the deal. Like he got out of the deal because he just like exploded his entire house with him inside. Like,
and that was
could have done that
B.
ages ago without torturing a bunch of children.
Yeah, exactly. And that was plan. Yeah, bear in mind that was technically plan B, not plan A.
I guess, yeah.
It's like, but like I think it was like he was trying to basically like it was his plan all along after like realizing he fucked up in Father's Love, that like he needed to expose his company and their dealings with these demons to the rest of the world in some way to like have get himself like basically he was trying to do right, but from his fuck ups.
Yeah.
One way or the other. I think that's really more of what the goal was here. But and then move on to the next thing here. Trust you, Mr. Marks? I stared at him, my gaze resolved. Yes, the way I trusted you when you came to me and told me you could save Rebecca in exchange for Olivia. I'll take care of it myself. You'll see, you and your mistress both. This is the best way. So, I love me a story that pulls in threads from previous stories that we have read in a series of stories. This part is obviously in reference to the Wicker story, Father's Love, and to a lesser extent, The Figure in the Fog, with like, again, we got Mr. Creed and like his mistress, and then obviously like he's referencing like the deal he made with Creed to get Rebecca to save Rebecca from her terminal illness in exchange for his wife Olivia's soul and stuff like that. So I was like, ooh, it's starting to, and this is just like the start of like him of the story, like pulling in new threads of everything. So moving on to the next thing here. Regarding this one's regarding his dead wife, or sorry, his brain dead wife, I guess. His vegetative
one, yeah.
My wife is dead in every sense, but a purely physical one. Yet in my mind, I still see her happy and whole, a smile on her beautiful face as the wind ripples through her hair. And though I'd make the choice over and again, it still pains me to know that I am the one responsible for putting her here. It broke my heart to put that tumor in her head. I feel like Mr. Marks and Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 have a similar sort of like mentality here.
Yeah.
But this is something that makes me go, ugh. Because the choice over and again is him raping and killing his wife.
To save his daughter.
Yes, who ends up becoming a monster. So why would he do it again?
Well,
that is weird. Why would he?
This is why I was at an impasse on how to feel about Mr. Marks. He's absolutely still the villain in all of this. But one that has descended down the road to damnation for good intentions. Is there an echo in here from like last week's episode? With when we were talking about like the road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he destroyed his wife's soul and in a very visceral and graphic way to save his terminally ill daughter. That's a harrowingly rough situation. But the problem is also but then like by the end of the story, we find out like he realizes that's not really his daughter. It's just a demon puppeting the flesh.
Yeah.
Also, I do wonder why he keeps his wife's body alive. Like maybe out of some like deep-seated guilt, or even like a false hope that like the soul may one day return. Maybe he's hoping to outmaneuver Creed and the All-Mother based on his plots and plans mentioned earlier. But honestly, I think it's more just like he's just keeping her around as sort of like a reminder of the shit he did, rather than maybe like a subconscious like kind of thing of like this is what I've done. Like these are my sins, the sins of a father. Credits.
There's the more creepy and skeevy aspect. He is a rape machine, so
okay. First off, he did it one time, and yes, he's confessing that he'd do it again to save his daughter. But that doing it one time and just like I don't think necessarily means that he's going to be like he's a rape machine. Though
I don't like that you guys keep saying that word. Like fuck.
Also, like I'm glad the story doesn't like go into any of that doesn't like allude to any of that in the story. He just like he goes to her and just like holds her hand and just kind of looks at her as but like in a way that's just like of guilt of what he's done. I'm glad it doesn't go anywhere else in that regard. But yeah, again, that's one of the reasons why, like, it's like I didn't know what to think about this guy, like, because like the story does kind of ultimately end in a redemption arc of sorts to him, or like basically him just like taking action on for the consequence, like taking responsibility for the consequence of his actions, is essentially what he does at the end. But he's still a fucking like villain in this story. He's still kind of a bit of a bastard.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll move on to the next thing here. Unlike the surprise I feel every time I see my wife, I've long become accustomed to this feeling of dread that latches upon me when I visit my daughter. And then it cuts to the Journal of Thomas Wicker, 6 March 1902, and I was like wondering, is it going to be revealed that like Mr. Marks is a descendant of Thomas Wicker, or is it just that these two narratives are intertwined because of the titular sins of the father motif? That like both stories kind of have like a sins of the father like theme to them, and is that why they're like intertwined? Because like it doesn't matter like through time and space, these like and through Creed and his meddling in with people of wealth and power. Like that's the sort of the crux of the interweaving of these two narratives is that just that theme of like a father's sins sort of situation. And then I have an update to like after I read the story. There's no real mention of a familial connection between the two. I think it is just that the two narratives intertwine because of the themes, and also just Creed's meddling through time and through history, basically.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Creed, my name is Creed. I am here to present you with a proposal on behalf of my mistress. And what? I asked, attempting to drum up anger to subdue the fear that was currently fighting to control me. Physically beating and abducting your prospective business partner is your preferred method of introduction, then? I realized that my position, shaking, barely dressed, and sprawled on the floor, was not one to elicit fear in even the most timid of adversary. And Creed was not timid. His grin was an evil thing, the starlight reflecting white off his sharp teeth. Typically no, Mr. Wicker. But in this case, I felt it would be the most efficient means of restoring your faculties to a point we can have productive conversation. And he indicated the bridge about us in a sweeping gesture. The easiest way to dispel any doubts you may have regarding my veracity or ability. Once again, I'd like to hand it off to, or like to give a round of applause to Creed for never ceasing to impress on his theatrics and introductions.
Of course, yes.
Like that, like man, this guy's just like so good at his presence, his force of will, and his character. He's always like, he's the scenes he makes, like he always makes the scenes more theatrical, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. He always makes a scene, like both that he makes the scene great, and he makes a scene during the scene.
Yeah, like he eats up the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
And then on to the next thing here. Now here I sit, forced into a dilemma by my father's actions. What to choose? The man most obviously had something to do with my father's demise, its fantastic nature easily leading even the most skeptical mind to such a conclusion. Do I dare throw in with such a creature, regardless of the animosity that was present between father and myself? Do I dare refuse? His deadline approaches. Scant hours remain before my decision is due. God, what to do? So I'm just going to read a piece from the Tunda story that we covered a while back. Because we get a little bit more context now after reading like this story with that tale. I shall refrain from again recounting in these pages the strange events surrounding father's murder. Just so, I have utterly failed to convince any others to the verity of such tales, and have subsequently ceased to make the attempt, lest I am thought more cracked than father in his final days. No matter. They were not there. They did not see with what my eyes beheld then, or since. Indeed, much of my expedition with Father, much as my expedition with Father first opened my mind to the nature of a privileged life, so too did his death widen my perspective to those ungodly hidden things with which men share this world, like a jaguar silently stalking the Amazonian canopy. And that was from the Tunda, specifically the Journal of Thomas Wicker, November 3rd, 1910. So it is really interesting. Like there is actually a continuity between the stories, because now we're reading like those pages that were like he's not going to refrain from repeating, like 10, almost 8 years later, in his journal entries. So I just thought that was like really cool that like, yeah, after reading the Tunda and like wondering about like, oh, what happened with his father and like how did it open up his eyes to the horror, then we get all that in this story.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really liked that. Kind of, again, a lot of callbacks to previous stories and previous journal entries, even within the lore. And speaking of that kind of thing, we get this. This is like when he sees like the drawings that his daughter's been making in her room and such. A second drawing is of the sea, the waves drawn as a child would have a series of spiky blue scribbles. But from the deep rises an enormous sea serpent, a leviathan that dwarfs the tiny ships, brushed aside from the glistening blue and green coils. Its enormous mouth, full of double and triple rows of sharp fangs, is shown open wide, as though it means to consume the world. Everything is coming together. This drawing, of course, relates to the fishing trip story we covered way back when, which is of like a leviathan being dredged up by from the sea by two seemingly like demigods or like avatars of creatures or beings.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it has been a hot minute. And again, I love I love this scene revealing that this girl, or whatever she truly is now, is making drawings of scenes from other Wicker Saga stories. Like, it really helped like cement that like the connective tissues of this story are visceral.
Yes, absolutely.
Like this, it really felt like this is like the culmination of all the previous stories we've read in the past from the Wicker Saga. So, and then the next thing here. With an effort, I pulled my attention away from the drawing and focused on my daughter perched on the end of her bed. Her smile is beatific, the blonde ringlets of her hair bobbing playfully upon her shoulders. Hi, Daddy. I consider the child before me, ever the appearance of a whole, healthy 7-year-old. Unless you look into her eyes. Those are much older. So to me, really, this kind of confirms even harder that from the story Father's Love, that Mr. Marks sold his soul and his wife's soul much more viscerally for nothing. Because this is Rebecca in physicality only, and it's probably some demon or entity of Creed and his mistresses that was brought forth from that story's ritual. In a way, he only has the physical body of his family and nothing more.
Yep.
But he's likely trapped in a desperate delusion and helplessness of his plots, or of the plots of these eldritch things that, and just kind of hoping that his daughter is in there somewhere. And yeah, the update after the end after I've read the story, it's like, yeah, no, the ending confirms it. Like this thing was not his daughter at all. It was just a charade or a masquerade.
It's almost like dealing with demons usually doesn't turn out well.
Yeah, but I mean, like again, like it's something I think I brought up with the Father's Love. It's like he is a villain, and he he should have known better. But like when you're desperate and like when you're like desperate to like help cure somebody that you love, sometimes you will turn to like nonsensical things, or like logic goes out the window.
Speaking of doing deals with demons, what's the contract like with Mikey, by the way? Is that like
I really can't
solid?
talk about it. Like there's like there's one of those like guesses like there. Like I literally cannot talk about it before.
Oh, I see.
Before it starts getting choked up.
I understand.
I need some water. Hang on.
Also, yeah, that word that you read earlier, or like smile being beatific, whatever it is, it means like blissfully happy. I had to look that up.
Okay. And then I'll move on to the next thing here before the lest the contract start choking me again.
Of course.
Okay, love you, Daddy. Oh, Daddy, she calls. I hate this.
I hate that these are like sound clips now.
Yeah.
Say it again, slower though.
Okay, love you, Daddy.
Oh, God, don't actually do it.
You asked for it. You literally asked for it.
Yeah, this is what I literally asked for. I am sorry, Internet, if that actually makes it on.
Oh, it's gonna. I'm leaving it. Fuck it.
Oh, God.
She calls as I turn to leave. Mr. Creed said he hopes you aren't going to try anything untoward. I don't know what that means, but he said if you did, then I'd get to play with you. She smiles again. Is your surprise untoward, Daddy? I force a smile on my own. Or I force a smile of my own. Of course not, Rebecca. I'll see you soon. This whole scene with his daughter is really good and chilling.
Yes,
Just like,
it is.
like to quote a recent like meme, it's like Mr. Marks, we are so fucked. Because he is so fucked. And I think, and again, like it's that horror of helplessness. Like he made this deal, he's now living with the consequences, and it's that horror of helplessness, of like, how can I get out of this? But death.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love it. But then we go back to the Journals of Thomas Wicker with this quote here. Accordingly, I removed the ball and, taking a sharp knife, with some effort, carved a rough cross into the projectile. I am not a man of faith by any means, though recent events give me cause to reconsider that position, but desperation is a remarkable catalyst for innovation. And I just love this line about reconsidering God and faith when after you encounter something evil and supernatural.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it really puts things in perspective. Like I wasn't really into like into the church or God until I came face to face with a demon, and I was like, maybe I should start looking into that.
Mm-hmm.
Very again, something like out of Supernatural is like, all right, I've seen the elephant in the room, and how do we get this elephant out of the room?
Yes.
But I'll move on to the next thing here, which is actually when he goes to the church to get his lead ball. Yeah, I was gonna say bullet, but is it a bullet when it's just like a lead ball? I guess it is.
I don't know the technical term on that.
But yeah, when he
The
goes
projectile.
effectively when he goes to get the bullet sanctified at the church by like dipping it with some water and some holy water and such. After a moment's hesitation, I slipped $100 bill into the collection box before using a match to give flame to one of the unlit candles. So I was like, at first I passed that by, and then like I rethought of that for a second, like a second or two later. I was like, wait, he gave a $100 bill into a collection box in 1902. The clergy of that church is going to have a heart attack the next morning when they check the collection box. It's like, because like, what is like $100 in 1902?
I'm Googling so many things today.
Yeah, I really should have. Actually, I don't know why 1902. So
about $3,700.
Yeah, so he just dropped $3,000 to this.
You can round that up to 4.
Like, god damn. That is wow. That's a very generous donation for, I guess, his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
he's literally trying to buy his soul back.
Yeah, he was trying to save his soul. So like, here's some money for like the little sprinkle of holy water.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spread that around as that being the cost of the Teutonic elixir. But I'll move on to the next thing I have. Mr. Wicker, he grinned, his voice rumbling like a distant storm. Do you really think your weapon will have any effect on me? I don't know, I shrugged and pulled the trigger. The round struck true, the ball blowing off the top half of Creed's bald skull. His grin finally fled his face, lips forming into a O of surprise. before a flood of living darkness erupted from where the crown of his head used to be, an explosion that enveloped the entire room and everything in it. My world turned to black, and in that moment, it ceased to be my world. No notes, just cinema.
Yeah.
I just loved it. Like, he's like, "Do you really expect that weapon will have any effect on me?" He's like, bang.
Yeah, I did
It's so
appreciate
good.
that.
It's just so good. It's like, just chef's kiss. But back to the present day. However, if I move too quickly, not only will my unwitting guests likely suspect something is amiss, more than they already must, but I'll risk losing Monaghan, who I can only hope is now tailing our little party. The sound of an occasional branch breaking behind me lets me know that he is. I can only imagine the thoughts going through his head as I move deeper into the woods. If only there was a story that was told from his POV. Oh wait, there is. A bad night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that. It's like, yeah, if only there was this other story that you should read on top of this story to get that POV. And then we have, I think this is back in the past with Mr. Wicker. His thoughts were an open book to me. I knew that somehow this totem was the key to his wealth and power. I saw that he gained it in his youth by killing his maternal grandmother, suffocating the old woman where she lay with a thick pillow. Okay, finally. The reason Shadow Swimmer suggested that we read Dream of Inheritance alongside this story. I was beginning to wonder.
Yeah, if it would ever show up, yeah.
Yeah, because like I wasn't even sure like whose grandmother that was, because like there's no names given to the characters in that one. So
Yes.
but yeah, we finally get like the reason to read that story. So it does pan out, and I do appreciate it. And then another thing we have here, this is again like when he's like transcended and seeing the world, like seeing the macroverse, to borrow something from Stephen King, like seeing the true universe stuff. It was a spider-like monstrosity, majestic and terrible, its many limbs piercing the light, simultaneously feeding upon the universe while injecting its spawn into it. I realized that this was the woman. Whatever she may be, the totem my father held a beautiful lie she sold to the unwitting to aid in her endeavors. Her avatar that allowed her to walk in the realm of men without breaking their sanity. The creatures she birthed were stains upon the purity of existence. Their purpose to prepare reality as a more savory meal for their mother, spreading her darkness through hatred and fear. Wow. We just get so much deep lore from this journal entry specifically, but from the story in general, like all about the whole like truth behind the Wicker Saga mythos, like what's going on in the like behind the scenes of various stories. Like so, like all the monsters that we've encountered in the Wicker Saga stories, like what the mother is, like what the plot is, basically the meta plot of the universe is just this. There's this horrible cosmic horror, just like in beyond time and space, feeding on our universe and like spilling down like its spawn to try and prepare the universe even more for its approach or for its final consumption. Again, just like brain blasted just by the story's like amount of lore that we're getting. And then we get this part here. I will find the creature's avatar. I will find a way to contain her. And in doing so, I will save my reality. And perhaps in doing so, I will someday become the man my father would have wished. So, based on the events of the Tunda and Wicker House stories, he either failed in this and became enthralled to the All-Mother, or was in fact trying to trap her in the Wicker House when he brought her back to Arthur's wake. it kind of feels like the horror of these stories is that like he failed to be the hero he wanted to be, and that's sort of the point. Is like because he became suddenly realized he did this for altruistic reasons, but then definitely fell short by the end.
Yeah.
After you read some of the other stories, where like Wicker, like it seems like, at least to me, like Wicker like failed in the Tunda to like not become enthralled to the evil of the Allmother. So, yeah.
But I feel like he tried to trap her in the
Well,
house.
That is, yeah, perhaps he didn't fit. Yeah. So like, that's the other thing. I was like, so perhaps that's why like he succeeded partially maybe in containing her to the house, but then like maybe like but then failed in a way that just like he couldn't continue the work, and so like that's why like the torch sort of got passed on to like other characters in a different time period, like a la from like the Figure in the Fog Light and like Morgana Fontaine, right? Like her, like they're all their business and stuff like that in trying to repair the runes and sigils in the Wicker House. Was it all just an attempt to entrap the Allmother to a certain location and not have that evil like spread as much as they'd like. But yeah, it's sort of like up in the air, like whether or not he failed, or like either he failed like initially or failed in the long run, but was able to pass the torch along to somebody who could succeed.
Yeah. He's at least like putting checkpoints in, like making progress towards actually doing it, you know?
Yeah. Like he thought he was going to be the big like the checkmate of his own story, but really he was just a pawn in the he was just another piece in the on the chessboard for other characters to take advantage of.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're getting to the end of we're almost at the end of my actual thoughts.
I don't believe it.
I know. My first shot wings the lead child monster, but my second takes it in the chest, knocking it off its feet. The third misses completely, but the fourth and fifth bullets strike true, dispatching the two remaining children in short order. Jeez, this man is a gunslinging machine. We've definitely entered the combat act of this Call of Cthulhu scenario. You know, we got all the investigation stuff and like the revelations of cosmic horror, and now it's time for the pulp action to kick in.
He's probably also shooting them from like 3 feet away. So like if you're missing that from that range, you get a problem.
Yeah, but
and
it's just
they're
like
zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're basically like mutated like child zombies. Yeah, I know. Like nothing really like negative about this. It's just like this is definitely like it's kind of become more of like the action sequence of this horror story. So it's like a lot more pulpy than I think. Maybe it's not even like negatively pulpy, but it's just honestly it sticks true to like the Wicker Saga stories where like they do kind of have like a pulp like Call of Cthulhu scenario sort of like vibe to them. Like
Yep.
they're all like they're inspired by like Lovecraftian horror and Cthulhu-esque adventures or mysteries. And so like yeah, this is just the combat action, like the combat segment of one of those adventures or scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I have here, yes, sir. You'd mentioned we might see him on the feeds, but not to interfere with anything he was doing. Yes, James. I'm always thought it was a little odd, sir. Never quite sat right. But you're the boss, so I never wanted to say anything. I can hear the embarrassment in his voice. It's all right, James. It's all right. I didn't want to drag you into this, but now I feel that I must. The man is a Russian spy. He's been blackmailing me, and tonight I'm ending it. Sir, we have security footage of the Russian spy just manifesting in and out of shadows of rooms. Is that some kind of new Russian infiltration tech I'm not aware of?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, James. Yes. Yeah, just a little bit of injecting a little bit of critically silliness into this. It was just like, sir, he's clearly a demonic creature. Or he's clearly using magic. Do the Russians have magic now?
Maybe he just always shows up off camera.
Yeah, that could be it. Honestly, like it is fine. Like, cause it's basically like he's trying to veil out. Like he's trying to give him like plausible deniability sort of situation.
Hmm.
So it's just, it makes perfect. It's also like if he may not want to like break James's sanity by like telling him the full truth. So he's just saying he's like, oh, he's a Russian spy. Your mind will be able to rationalize that.
Yes.
I heard a giggle. Mikey, was that you?
Oh yeah, basically he's a video game NPC. He can only spawn off camera.
Ah, yes,
Ah,
yes. He's a Pona. He just spawns like he just clips into existence.
Yep.
And then my last thing here is at the final confrontation and like the he sets off the detonators and all that stuff, and then at the last quote we get of the story is, somehow I managed to lift my arms, pulling the creature closer in an embrace as it rips into me. No child should have to pay for the sins of their father. Credits. No,
Yeah.
credits. Wow, that was a hell of a conclusion to the events of Father's Love and like sort of a redemption arc for Mr. Marks. Like at least like a redemption in so that like he finally took responsibility for the terrible actions he performed in Father's Love by like basically just like finishing the situation, like just dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not like his soul is redeemed from that, I doubt. I don't think so. But like again, it's that gray area of like you did this for the right reasons, perhaps, but like only because you realized you fucked up. So yeah, it's that kind of redemptive narrative.
And I can appreciate the Halo-esque ending of, "What are you doing, Mr. Marks?" "Sir, ending the fight," or whatever it was, and then
Sir, giving the Covenant back their bomb.
Yeah.
Or
the
yeah,
actual line from that.
The end of Halo 2 is just like it's like
Finishing the fight.
Mind telling me what you're doing on that ship? Sir, finishing this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. But that's all I've got for my actual thoughts for Sins of the Father. So Mikey, he stands for evil.
All right.
How many hours in are we right now?
We're 2 hours. We're 2 hours in.
Jesus Christ.
So, all right, let's start here. So, I hate to beat a dead horse.
No, you don't.
You absolutely don't. You will continue to beat a horse until it's just the bones.
But I feel this would have been better if the stories were separated. Because like personally, there's not much connection other than Sins of the Father, which I guess is the title. But
it is the theme, the titular theme of both stories. Yeah,
and then there's Creed, and then the other connection would be the quote, "It would seem that time itself exists simultaneously, the presence of individual moments, the mere byproduct of humanity's inability to perceive everything at once."
Oh my god! Yeah,
technically they're happening at the same time.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like that, yeah, that actually does kind of help the story as to like why you should keep it like intertwined. But I do kind of see your point. Like these two stories could have been separated as two separate stories.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't hurt the stories don't hurt by being together, I think, anyway. But.
Well, but if they're going to be together, we need better separation, as
That's true,
we talked about in the grammar, because honestly, the first section talks about Mr. Wicker.
Yeah.
So when it got to the second section, even though it says Marks Industries, I assumed it was still Mr. Wicker.
Me too, honestly.
And
again,
then, and then I got really confused when he had a fingerprint sensor and a retina scanner, and it's still 1902 and a burner phone.
Yeah, well, it does say Marks Pharmaceuticals the present day, but like, yeah, it should have like just. I feel like the present day, like as it's fine and all, but I do think that if you're gonna have like a journal entry from 1902, maybe just cement when this is taking place in the present. Especially since
for me, when the Marx Industry stuff came up, it clicked for me when he was referred to as Mr. Marx. That's when I'm like, oh, okay, it's different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this could, and like again, what I was like wondering is like, is Mr. Marx and Wicker like, are they related? Like, is it like sort of like a descendant, or are they the same person? Just he took a different name after his death in quotes.
Yeah. Well, I think the main problem is that we get a clear year, 1902, and then we just get the present.
Yeah, and then a vague timestamp.
Yeah.
Whenever you're reading the story, that's when it's taking place.
Yeah, which I don't think is necessarily correct because the story is placed in a timeline of the Wicker Saga. So, yeah,
and so that's might be they could be separated out in my mind,
or either separated as separate stories, or like maybe like separated or like kind of the separations in the story where they're two interwoven stories should be more clarified.
Yes.
Yeah.
But considering we literally just read a very short story that is connected, The Dreams of Inheritance, like, why couldn't they be separated into their own stories?
Because we wouldn't get the cool thing of Mr. Wicker. Do you really think that'll do anything? Bang! And then the next chapter, Mr. Marx, do you really think that'll do anything? And he puts it down sad. Like that happened chapter after.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Yeah, but and then at the end of the like that's around the end of Wicker's like kind of like set of stories. Like I mean, obviously there's more to it, but like that's like his confrontation. That's the end of his confrontation with Creed, and then yes, we get that first. Is like, you think that'll work? Is like, and he's like oh. Oh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, given the previous context, it could have actually just worked.
Or but then at the very end of the story, we have like Mr. Creed get surprised again by a mortal when he's like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna blow us all up." What shit? He just like he shadow bounced away.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's like, I saw this movie. I saw this last time. I'm out of here. It's like the fall will kill us both, and he just starts moving Creed into
yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, no, like it is again like that is another like thing, like kind of another connection between the two narratives is like Creed just getting
wrecked.
I was gonna say like getting blindsided by the mortals he's making deals with. Like,
yeah, he didn't learn anything over 100 years, did he?
Well, no, he did, because he was like he managed to get him to bluff on a gun, but then Mr. Marx escalated with syntax.
What I find weird though is like the gun thing happened in the 1900s where it blew his head off and he had to like recombobulate himself or whatever to come back.
Yeah.
And yet, like later in the future, he just throws Marx a handgun, like so he can raise it to him and bluff him. But like, is it basically like over that 100 years he's done this gun thing multiple times and it pretty much always works? But the couple of times it doesn't, it will kill him. But like he's basically betting on this bluff happening just to make his power seem even more impressive than what it is.
I think it's either that or like the first time it happened, it was technically a sanctified bullet that he knew was sanctified, because he like mentions like, oh, like that was an interesting thing you were doing earlier today, you know, going to the church and all that. But then this one,
we know
in the present, like he may not have, he may have like figured, oh, it's just a regular gun, it's not gonna do anything to me,
I guess. Or again, he's just bluffing both times, because regardless, if you shoot this man in the head, he's dead.
Yeah. And is he really dead? Again, like he died in 1902, but then
if you shoot this man in the head, he is inconvenienced for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Cthulhu, like getting stuck by getting rammed by a boat and like decorporealizing, and then like it's like he was about to rise and spread madness across the world, and then he got poked by the boat, decorporealized, and then basically went back to bed as he started reforming himself.
Yeah, he needed a nap.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, that would wreck your day if you like woke up finally. It's like, yes, I have a good day, and then you get just get stabbed by something as you're waking up. It's like, oh, fuck this, nap time again.
Yeah.
I'm not waking up to this day.
Immediately get up and then boat to the head.
Yeah, exactly. If you got if somebody just like booted you with a boot or a shoe as you just getting up, you're not going about your day. Like that day's ruined. and similarly, I think.
Do you remember the boot to the head meme?
Yeah, boot to the head
From ages ago. Yeah, what's boat to the head in that case?
Yeah, boat to the head.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need that animation. Damn it. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, though it's like he's just inconvenienced in 1902.
Yes.
And then he had to resurrect or remanifest, I guess. But yeah, I do agree with you a little bit, Mikey. Like these stories could be separated, but like also with some of the themes that are mentioned between the two stories, it does actually work together. It just needs maybe some more clarity on like the segues between the Thomas entries and the Marx entries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would definitely help it way more than for keeping it together, but like also clarifying those kind of like those alternating narratives.
Yep. All right. So my next actual thought is when we get the repeat of the bonfire in the clearing with the cannibal kids. When I read it, I knew it was a repeat because of the hunting platform. Like that triggered me as like, I read this before.
Yeah.
Because the hunting platform. Why do we keep getting repeat, Shadow Swimmer? Why?
You say it like it happens all the time. How many times has it happened?
This is at least the second time. Because there's the other story. There's two stories that literally describe the Wicker House. And they're only slightly different.
Well, it's because it has to be set up so you can just read each story in space by itself, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's the reason.
I think my main beef is I don't like reading the same thing over and over again. Like, if it's going to be from a different point of view, like this is technically from a different point of view, there needs to be more different.
You say that, but as a guy that runs a pharmaceutical company, how many kill boxes does he have? He probably just has this one because he doesn't go around murdering a bunch of people all the time. So if he has to do it, he's going to be going to the same spot.
Yeah. Well, I think also more than that, like honestly, like I kind of disagree. Like this story, like I found this story was like, yeah, it was like going back to like events that were mentioned in another story, but from a completely different person's perspective on it. And I think that's like what differentiates it from like another story where like, oh, like we've read one story and then we're reading another story that uses material from another story, from a story that we've already read. That's like part of like a previous thing. Also, I think you might be, I think there's some other authors that have done that. I don't know if Shadow Swimmer necessarily has done this.
Well, the Wicker House, yes, he has.
Like kinda, but like.
Well, we mentioned it in that podcast. That's like I feel like I've read this before, and then we brought up that we had read a different story that also had the same descriptions of stuff, and it was mostly the same, other than it had a different character that had uncovered that information.
Yeah, because it was because like the characters need to get caught up. Like we need to, like it does kind of help us. Like if you want to like kind of make a story that is telling about those events, you do need to add those details into this current story so that people aren't like left like wondering what the previous story is without like going back and reading it, because some people don't want to go and read another story, so it's good to have like the story they are reading have details from the previous events.
Yeah, well, but just the duplication annoys me.
Okay,
is the point.
Fair.
when I have deja vu, I don't like it in creepypasta.
All right, agree to disagree, I guess.
And then my final actual thought here is that I still can't forgive Mr. Marks, even though this is theoretically his redemption arc. His previous actions were just too horrific.
I mean, that's fair. He was a bit he again, this story like is a redemption arc of sorts, but it's also like he still bites at the end, like, so you can take solace in that, I guess.
Well, and he's all like, oh, I'm gonna blow you up, but there's no guarantee that Creed exploded.
No, in fact, Creed is gone. Like, he bounces, like he shadow bamps out of
Swam.
Yeah.
Shadow swam away.
Yeah, he shadow. Wow.
Especially like since like Wicker like gets bamfed into the shadow realm and he's having to swim around in it.
Oh my god. God damn it. But yeah, like he like Creed definitely did not like die from this. And obviously I think we know that he doesn't because we hear from Creed later after these events, because this was like the sort of detailed account of the of what happened to the Marks Pharmaceuticals facility. That like a bunch of people got laid off as a result of like a scandal or something, or of a disaster. So and Mr. Creed like is in those other stories. So yeah, Creed he's still kicking, but this is definitely like kind of a final conclusion to the horrible mistakes that Mr. Marks did in his own previous story, Father's Love.
Mm.
But yeah, I feel like you could see it as a redemption. Also, you could see it as just like he's finally like getting his retribution. His comeuppance, there's retribution for him on him for what he did. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's into my actual thoughts.
All right, gamer.
Let's see. What do I have? So this first one, I hadn't seen my progenitor since he'd retired to his apartment and had considered it something of a windfall on my behalf. So I didn't understand what windfall means in this context, and I still don't. Do you understand it?
I've heard that phrase before. Why did none of us look it up?
I tried to, and it wasn't really showing up.
Well, windfall basically means you win the lottery type thing. Like you have a sudden...
Yeah. A piece of unexpected good fortune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically one that involves financial gain.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So it's good luck on Thomas's behalf because his dad isn't around all the time.
Yeah.
Basically. He's hiding in his room. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I learned a thing.
Yay. We all learned things today.
Mm-hmm. And then in regards to Anthony asking Thomas to quote unquote intercede on Father's behalf, what was he asking Thomas to like intercede on? Because it sounded like he was asking him to make a decision on something because his father wasn't capable of doing so. But I think what happened was it seemed like he just asked him to go speak to him and not even ask him anything. Like, what's he interceding with?
Okay, the way I interpreted that, again, I didn't like look up what intercede means. It means on behalf. So he on Anthony's behalf, he went in and tried to coax his father out of his to find out see if he could get his father to stop being like so goddamn paranoid and like leave the room and like become part of society again. Or like try to like intervene, try to like form an intervention on Anthony's behalf for his father and his isolationist activities.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I suppose. Okay. Then, in regards to like the PI making a hole in the fence in broad daylight, wanting to come back that evening, I don't understand the logic in that. Like, there's no advantage of doing so. All it does is add risk to what he's doing, unless he's like trying to set it up as a trap of some kind.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, you figured he would show up at night when it's already dark and they can't see him do it, and then he cuts a hole and goes in.
Yeah, especially since they could have had like again they've been monitoring his activities like for a while even before this. So like he could just like James could have just like, sir, he's at the perimeter now. It's like and it's like nighttime. It's like splendid, perfect. The pieces are in place, kind of thing. Like you didn't have to have that thing where it's like it happened like before and now it's like and like so they had hours to like prepare. Like they could have just had that happen and have the characters know about it because they've been like keeping tabs on him, which they
that would make
already
more
were.
sense.
Yeah.
Because it was weird otherwise.
Yeah.
And then my next one is we get Creed showing up. He says, "What are you doing, Mr. Marks?" The voice of the man who seemingly melts from the collective shadows in the corner of my office is a deep rumbling bass that never fails to send a shiver down my spine. I know what he's capable of. "Hello, Creed. Been here long?" He steps toward me, a giant of a man, almost 7 feet tall. Sunlight from the large bay window behind me shining off his bald cap of his skull. A telltale glint of his eyes betrays their inner suspicion. So yeah, I think we all know what Creed is capable of. Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Creed was introduced in the story, like, with the quote-unquote sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of that, all I can view Creed as is, like, with that pervy light of that story, it's, like, burned into my brain as much as it is for Mr. Marks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But because of that, whenever, like, Creed is doing something cool and or, like doing powerful shit later on in the story, I'm like always on a constant worry that there's going to be some skeeviness to what he's doing. Like I know there's no NSFW rating on this story, but like
Yeah.
you can only make a first impression once, you know?
Yeah. And well, I would like to point out he is a demon, or at least like definitely some kind of elder being.
I'm aware.
So, but like so I feel like your apprehension of like, oh god, what's he's here? Like even though he's doing some really cool, like creepy, like theatrical shit, he might do something creepy.
Yeah.
And, like I feel like that is part of
things
the
will change
point.
when a penis is exposed. It will happen.
Yeah. So like I feel like that is intentional and like that's like is like, oh, you're getting anxious whenever Creed shows up, and then like it's that gif of like the guy's like good. Like you're supposed to be. It's a horror story.
I guess, but like if he was shown as like him doing this cool like badass shit first, like as his introduction, and then there's another story where he's doing the sacrifice thing, that'd be fine. Because like it would be this dangerous being needing to do this skeevy thing instead of this skeevy being doing this dangerous thing, you know? Like whatever happened first is what he's identified as to me.
I suppose, yeah. I don't know. That is interesting because like I don't share that observation. Like I don't like obviously like I know Creed is capable of like the like horrible sexual deeds through those rituals and stuff like that from the previous story, but then like in this story, like but then like I think I'm just able to like chalk that up to like, oh, he's a fucking demon or something. So like, of course he's gonna be fucking sinister like that. And it's just like, but it is interesting that like that's your takeaway, or like that's the apprehension you're getting from him, that you can't like
unsee that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't unsee that. Like I'm not like poking fun at you at all in this. I'm just like that's an interesting like POV of like between our two opinions, I guess, or between our two perspectives is like I guess I'm just like not like I'm just acknowledging that and just like that's fine. Like he's a demon, he's supposed to be a monster, but you're just like, ugh. Like that's every time you look at him, like you can't unsee that aspect of him.
Yeah, it's the power of first impressions, honestly.
Yeah.
It just sticks with me more, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like even later on when like the Anthony shows up and he like tentacle grabs him over and like caresses his cheek, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna give it to him, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he does kind of skull fuck him a little bit, but
yeah, not the way that I expected.
He finger bangs him.
Finger bang 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 bang.
Like finger bang skull fucks him.
Nice South Park reference.
You're welcome.
That's what I'm treating it as.
Yeah. Aren't different perspectives on reality fun?
Yeah, sure.
It's what makes all of us different and unique creatures. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, I'm moving on. Back to Mark's Industries. I glance at my watch, the hour hand edging towards the 6 at the bottom. I need to get going. Huh?
I don't know why. Like you said, like edging towards. Like, no, don't say that.
Well, you did just say it.
Fuck.
Either way.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I glance at my watch, the hour hand edging towards the 6 at the bottom. I need to get going. Replacing Olivia's hand at her side, I exit the room and find the nurse to retake her post. So, has Olivia been like enhanced with cybernetics or something that he's like replacing her hand and such?
No.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure about that. I'm pretty sure you can use the word replace to like, oh, like you've replaced like you've replaced it where it was.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's meant to be critically silly.
I know. It took a heartbeat. It took a heartbeat. It was like, oh, he's being critically silly. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm ruining the bit. I'm sorry.
I tend to deliver them like pretty flat.
Yeah. So, operation failed successfully?
Yes. Mission successfully failed.
Well, but you usually do it just to rile up cultists. So
yeah. Wait,
you were successful.
Is it intentional?
Anyway, so my next one. I've come to realize the truth of the manor, just like Cultist has. The man possesses abilities far beyond mortal ken. So I learned a thing like beyond mortal ken I've never heard before, which when I first Googled, took me to a quest called A Dish Beyond Mortal Ken from Genshin Impact, which probably isn't what he's referencing.
No.
But on further digging, it means beyond mortal understanding.
Yes. One's range of knowledge and sight.
Mm-hmm. Did you also have to Google it?
I'll be honest. I initially thought it meant like the same as like beyond my mortal kin, but I did just Google it up to clarify, and I did have to Google it.
And you also got Genshin Impact?
No, I didn't I honestly no. Google actually gave me like the dictionary description first. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should use Google instead of Bing then.
That might help. Also,
I'm just
Bing.
It's because I'm using Microsoft Edge.
Oh, I guess.
And that's the default.
Right.
And I'm like,
You just gotta stop edging, man. Like,
oh my god, I can't. Every time I do a search, it gives me like 2 cents of like credit on my Microsoft account.
God. Continue on, please.
Okay, fine.
Ourselves.
Yeah, please. I will do that. So my next one is basically just the descriptions of the drawings in the daughter's cell. They're all like described very well and very vividly. Like I could see the way that's drawn. Like maybe like a little too hyper detail on some aspects.
I feel like
when it's talking about like the inside of the creature's mouth having multiple teeth, multiple rows of teeth. I don't know if a child's drawing could have that level of detail.
No, I think it could. Like, it just the mouth would look like it would have like almost like it could definitely like emulate that with kids' drawings.
There'd be a lot of consummate V's.
I'm actually exactly. Yeah, I'm actually searching at my the niece cultist's drawings on my wall that I have pinned up of monsters that she's drawn. It's like, oh yeah, she's done some and she was like around the same age when she drew these, so she's pretty good at like detail like that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I guess like a front-on shot of the mouth open, you'd be able to draw in multiple teeth.
Yeah.
I was thinking like side views, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, that would be kind of hard to do if it was a side view.
Yeah.
Also,
and I wouldn't expect a child to be able to do like 3/4 views. So
yeah. Also, regarding like the amount of detail that are in some of these drawings, I feel like those are obviously like intentional for the narrative because like they're all callbacks to other stories.
Yes, for sure.
Also, I'm thinking of like because we didn't mention it in my notes for this part with the serpent stuff we just covered, but the one with the fog, the one that's obviously a reference to the figure in Foglight. I was like I was also kind of starting to like, I guess, feel how you were feeling with like the detail because it's like the house like that's like clearly supposed to be the wicker house like with the black rail or the black fencing around it, and then like the figure in the window that is like clear that's like has really pronounced red eyes, and then like the it's like the amount of detail in that one was like, okay, that's I would actually be like freaked, like kind of creeped out if the Nice cultist like gave me a drawing like that detail.
Yeah, and that's specific. It's not like so. It's something that they're actually envisioning, not something that's just made up.
Yeah, like something that they're actually like they have like a point of clearly have some kind of point of reference for, not just like your imagination.
Yes. My next one we kind of talked about in regards to like Creed choosing to actively disarm Thomas, and that like when I saw that happen, to me I'm like that actually says something that like he's actually concerned about the weapon because he wouldn't have bothered otherwise.
Yeah.
But whether that is because of the holy water on it or just the fact that it's a bullet and that hurts, it's left up in the air because Marks did not shoot him, which I wish he did, because then we'd have that data.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's also like left vague for that reason. It's like is it that or is it not? Who knows?
Regardless, it wouldn't kill him anyways. It would just inconvenience him.
Yeah, he does also clearly get like surprised when like when a weapon does hurt him, or like when a weapon is threatening him, like when at the end of the story when Marks is just like has the detonator, he's like, oh fuck, and he just shadows out.
Yeah,
like he's like, I don't know if I could take this.
Yeah, he's not as powerful as he presents himself to be.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, he is also just the servitor of like an eldritch horror or of like a cosmic being. So he himself may not be as powerful as a cosmic being.
No. That being said, he does have some unique abilities, which I'll go into next.
All right.
This quote is of Anthony walking in, and he says, "Thomas?" His voice quiet and unbelieving where Anthony stood in the door. With a snarl, Creed turned to my unfortunate butler and threw up an arm towards him. Flying from his mouth, it was from a victim he recently devoured, as it flew fist first towards Thomas, punching him across the face with great accuracy.
I'm sorry?
So that's something that totally happened and not something that I'm just saying because it would be silly. Because it says he threw up an arm towards him.
Oh
so
my
he
god!
vomited an arm in his direction.
Yeah.
That's how I originally saw it.
Fair.
That would be a unique ability, though.
Yeah. Just summons limbs.
Yes.
Somewhere in the world, somebody just loses a limb.
He does like consume them.
That's
so
true,
like
yeah.
when he's like consuming through the finger banging, it could be possible that like that is ammunition in him for him to regurgitate later.
We're no better than these stories sometimes.
No, we're always worse than these stories. What are you talking about?
I just pointed that out.
Okay, fair. This next one, and going from that silly thing to now for something completely serious. This quote here: "No, I will find a way to be free of these monsters. I am too terrified to move against Creed directly, and too weak to take my own life." This is after he like tries to kill himself with the handgun.
Yeah.
I know that this is like a character saying this, and one who's already in a fragile state, but like I hate how in writing, movies, games, everything, the ability to resist suicide is always viewed as a weakness. Meanwhile, it's like really the opposite. It takes a lot of strength and resolve to resist doing that and leaving your problems with those around you to have to clean up after.
Yeah, but I do hear you. Like obviously, like it is, but like I'm wondering if like because I've never really had to deal with it, so I'm not entirely sure I'm the person to bring this stuff up. But it to me, it kind of seems like that's like, well, yes, like obviously, like they are stronger for resisting it, and but like they maybe in those moments they don't feel like that because of how low they've come to that, and they would view it as like a form of cowardice because they couldn't take that way out. And they're not thinking about like how it's going to affect the outside world, like their loved ones or what have you.
Yeah, and that's why I say like I know that this is coming from a character who's in a fragile state, so
yeah,
they're not thinking the right or wrong way or whatever. But like, yeah, it's always all over the place in movies. Like that is the quote unquote weak way. Meanwhile, it's really not.
No, absolutely not. Like and I think maybe that's also the horror of helplessness here, is just like having those like those thoughts of like that are not true, like the like having like feeling like you're weak for resisting. It's like, no, you're stronger for resisting it. And like and again, for this story, like he's put in a position where like death is the way out because like otherwise like
absolutely.
he's because like otherwise he is just going to keep propagating more and more evil into the world until this like eldritch horror basically consumes the planet. So but like, yeah, so that's what more taken to like a more fantastical side of it. But like on the real, on the more real grounded side of it, like, yeah, no, like they, um, when it's not taken into like a horror scenario or a horror stories point of view, like in the real world, like, yeah, that stuff's a lot more like that. It is stronger to resist that shit.
For sure. And in the like view of the story, him dying at the end to the explosion, does that like end the cycle, basically?
I think it's basically just now like
Well,
Creed and his mistress have to find a new outlet.
Yeah.
They have to find somebody new because they tried getting, because like that's what they've been doing across time. I think this is what the story's been illustrating. What they've been doing across history is they've been like making deals with wealthy and powerful people to propagate their own ends, and they're gonna have to restart again, or they're gonna have to start again with somebody new now that Marx has been. And perhaps, maybe even perhaps not. Maybe they still have like the fingers in Mark's Pharmaceuticals, but like they'll have to find something better, or they'll have to find another group or faction to manipulate.
But they don't make deals with wealthy people; they make people wealthy.
True. Yeah. They prop them up. Yeah. They prop people up to be wealthy and powerful in the world while manipulating them from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
they basically they create those wealthy and powerful people. Yeah,
and Mr. Wicker resisted because he didn't
kill his father.
Didn't go kill his father, and he didn't continue with the pact or whatever.
Though to be fair, his father he was benefiting from the wealth and power that his father acquired through the deals and stuff as well. Or that, because like that's how he got like Mr. Wicker's father got that power, and his father or his grandmother and like the lineage of the Wicker family got more and more like wealth and power through like the covenant with Creed and the All Mother. So
yeah, but Mr. Wicker didn't continue the deal basically because he.
But yeah.
So basically, he ended the contract with Mr. Creed by not continuing the pact, and then Mr. Marx gets out of it by killing himself.
By the house exploding.
I interpreted like the Wicker thing a little bit differently. Like, yes, he thought he had broken from the deal, but again, like it kind of feels like by like in the end, Creed and the All Mother got the last laugh on Wicker.
Well,
we don't know his final fate.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, in the Wicker house, he dies. He fell from the top from the attic window of the Wicker house onto the gabled like spiked fences.
Oh, that was Mr. Wicker, right?
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
But again, it's true. It has been a hot minute. Also, like, but yeah, was he? But yeah, and they can be interpreted like, was he still at that point? Had he like fallen from grace and was enthralled with the All Mother? Was that all like a part of her plan, or had Mr. Wicker managed to actually like successfully bind the All Mother to that house and that location before dying, and thus like kind of helping somebody else like try and defeat like her situation? So yeah, it's like you are right. Like he did break the contract. He broke from the contract, but I don't think he broke the contract necessarily. But or at least they came to collect regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll move on from there.
Yeah.
My next one is just another word I learned because I learned a lot in this one. Partially because like a lot of it is old-timey talk from the 1900s.
Yeah.
Which is probably filled with a lot of words we don't use these days, like stymie. Like, it is in this pursuit to stymie her and her accursed children, which means to hinder, apparently. Which I kind of figured based on context, but I wanted to look it up anyways.
Fair.
And then the last one is back at Mark's Industries after the PI has had his foot shot and tourniqueted, and Marks calls James to come over and exfiltrate him basically from the area. And it says, after about 40 minutes, I hear the motor of a vehicle close by, soon followed by a beam of light bouncing through the woods. James walks into the clearing carrying a flashlight similar to my own. He walks? He told him that Monahan was like in critical condition and dying. Get the lead out. Fucking run, bud.
I mean, maybe the
It took him
trees were
40
blocking
minutes to
their
get
path.
there.
Well, no, because in that 40 minutes, he wasn't just like getting the car wrecked, like car repped, or like prepped to get over there. He was also setting up the explosives in
This
that
is
40
true.
minutes.
That being said, if he was really concerned about saving his life, he should have got him out first, get him to the hospital, and then set up the explosives.
Counterpoint, he did lay him next to the fire so that he wouldn't like freeze to death, and like basically basically kept him sustained long enough for help to arrive. So like it it's a bit of a stretch, but like this is it works it works enough.
Yeah, I guess, but still.
Yeah, I do agree. Like when he was like walking, he's like again, like I just when he was walking away from the car, like I sort of just put in this like, oh, maybe there's some trees like that. He just couldn't get the car maneuvered close enough, so then he just like walked over. But yeah,
Well, they're in the middle of the
kind of
woods.
funny.
He's not going to be able to drive it into the woods.
Well, there might be some trails, or like he can make like trailblaze a little bit, but like again, like where trees are, like sometimes you can get through areas and sometimes you can't, and I think that's just what happened here. But
Yeah, I suppose so. But that's actually the end of my notes.
all right, well then
We are nearing the end of this.
finally. Now, on to final thoughts. Yeah, I'm still going to recommend it, though more specifically, I feel this should be read after at least reading A Bad Night, Tunda, Father's Love, and Dreams of Inheritance, as it is basically a cumulative conclusion to those stories. Obviously, the more Wicker Saga stories you read, the more enjoyment you will get from the little connections that are popped in here and there. But I think those are the core stories that are brought to a conclusion at the end of this story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's honestly, again, a lot of my note, like a lot of the story, I wasn't taking a lot of notes aside from like some positive stuff because I was just kind of gobbling it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoyed the story and like all the connections and stuff. Obviously there are some problems like with the segueing between scenes or between timelines basically, but it was fun. Like I was able to navigate that. And that's more of like just a small, like fixable issue kind of thing. So yeah, I will still recommend it. And in fact, you would benefit to read more of the Wicker Saga stories before this one, then read this one because it kind of culminates to a bunch of things. So, or culminates.
Might actually be nice. Might actually be nice to have URLs at the top saying like you should read this, this, and this before reading this.
Or
because we've read some stories that have done that before.
Yeah, I dare say even have like certain words in the text hyperlinked to other stories.
That's a sneaky way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that because we've seen it that way as well. Like we've seen stories that do that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's otherwise like it's pretty good. Like I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna recommend it. Mikey, the E stands for evil.
Okay. So I'm going to recommend Dreams of Inheritance because I didn't actually get to say my actual thought here. It seems like he could be stuck in a time loop.
Oh, because of the deja
that's what
vu.
it seemed like. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen, and then that didn't continue in Sins of the Father at all.
I thought I had an inkling of that thought in my head, but I just again chalked it up to just like, oh yeah, deja vu because he dreamed this event kind of thing. So like he had the dream, and then he woke up and it's like, maybe I should do that. So he's probably being manipulated. And then it's like, oh, this sounds awfully familiar. And then, but yeah, no, I do kind of like that actually. If it was like actually like a time dilation, like or like a time loop thing.
It would be cooler if he was older, and so he's already had children, and what happened to him in the future is he went insane.
Yeah.
And was put in a mental institution. So like in his head, like he did the murder, but then like he wakes up and wants to do it again, and he completely forgot what happens, and he's just looking for his mother to kill her again, and like that just keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if that was described, but it wasn't. So I don't know. As you guys said, it's probably just him being influenced to do it.
Yeah.
Although the deja vu, the heavy implication of deja vu makes me question that.
Well, you can sometimes get that when you have a dream that's like feels very real, and then you wake up and you're going to do something that's very similar to that what happened in the dream, and so you get deja vu from like a false memory from the dream. So,
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Still loops. They're neat.
Picture like gamer if we still did like illustrated like title cards. I just picture like having you with like three like interlocked like hula hoops, just like loops. They're neat.
Yes. Doing the magic trick of like separating them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or just holding up a box of Fruit Loops.
Yeah. But for the Sins of the Father story, Mikey.
Well, I'm actually going to reverse some of what Cultus said, because the Dark Knight or whatever, I would say don't read that, just read this, because the like I said, it's mostly the same thing. Yes, it's from a different perspective, and yes, we find some problems, like a 6-shooter versus an 8-shooter.
That would definitely have to be has to be corrected.
Or he just owns 2 guns and he brought a different gun that day.
Sure.
Are the 2 stories the exact same event happening?
Yeah. They're like one's from Monahan's perspective, like a bad night, and then it ends with him about like past like basically blacking out, like presumably dying in the snow after being shot by the character. But then in this story, it's told from like we get the POV of Mr. Marks, and we find out that like all of like what was going on with the pharmaceutical thing, and like his the detective's whole like case was a ploy to get attention on the company and its shady undoings. And so basically, and then we find out that Mr. Marks did not just leave Monahan to die. It was all part of his plan to lure the children out so that he could like kill them and then like save Monahan and get him out so that he'd spread word of like the evil doings. So
gotcha. Yeah, I wish I had looked over the previous story because I didn't realize it was the exact same thing. I thought it was just something similar.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up that like Mark's Pharmaceuticals only has so many places to kill people, so when they have to do it, they do it in the same spot. But it was literally the same event, so
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm starting to understand you more, Mikey. Why it's repeated.
I don't, but it again, we're gonna have different perspectives on this, so
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also still don't like Mr. Marks, although I feel like that's because of the previous story and learning
You're not
about
supposed to like him.
Yeah, he's not.
But
you're not
at least if I had read this story first, I would have had, he's trying to battle the enemy type thing. Not that he's, he did a very, very dirty deed, done dirt cheap, and
yeah, he shit in his bed, and now he has to sleep in it, and he's trying to get out of that in this story.
Yeah, but he also contradicts himself, saying he would make the deal again even though he knows his daughter is not his daughter. It's a monster.
I think again that was part. I will say like that is one part where of the story that has a slight indiscrepancy because like he is coming. I think it's more meant to be like he's coming around to the fact that his daughter is not actually in that body, and it is just some kind of like demon masquerading. I think up until the end of the story, he had like a glimmer of hope or of lost hope that she was still in there, much like how he was like treating his wife's body. And then, but like again, like him having that conviction does make him villainous, but it also gives him because what father wouldn't try to like bring back their child if they even if it meant like doing something like incredibly heinous and terrible, like you're almost as much a monster otherwise, or at least in their eyes. But I do see like the indiscrepancy there, but like I feel like it just adds to his character of like he's a complex villain in a way, because he's not just like I'm doing this because I'm evil. Like no, he did not get what he signed up for and regrets it afterward because he's a flawed human being, a flawed character, and is trying to basically like make amends in some way. But yeah.
So all that said, I'm still not going to recommend this.
All right, fair enough. And Gamer.
Well, aside from some formatting and description clarity, it was honestly a good read. It does the back and forth storytelling very well. Aside from the titles not being very clear, whether it's through bolding, underlining, or center justification, something like that has to be done. Regardless, it's all directly connected, at least I felt, and it means something together as a whole. I would have preferred some chapter shortcuts at the top, chapters with different names, even if it was like Mark's Industries, The Present, Part 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that would work.
It's still held together pretty well, especially since like we're just coming off a really long story that had like 8 stories interweaving between each other, and like I was struggling with that a lot. This one is a lot clearer. Where it's just like we're here now, we're going there, now we're back here, now we're back there. It's a lot easier to digest.
Yeah, like I don't want to necessarily compare two different authors and their writing styles, but
of course not.
This one was definitely like a much
an easier read.
Yeah, this one was an easier and clear cut way of reading that kind of interwoven narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't exactly enjoy being reminded of Creed and the events of the past story, but the story as it was is good. And as you said before, too, Cult, is like me being unsettled by Creed isn't a negative thing for the story. It's a positive thing, if anything, because it makes me feel. you know, he's not just like I'm a big scary guy, and that's it.
Yeah. You there's actually some substance to the dread or the anxiety you're feeling from reading the story, because like that's the point. Like you're supposed to not feel good all the time for reading a horror story, but
for sure, yeah. So yeah, overall, I didn't really have a problem with it. I do wish the looping mechanic that Mikey brought up was kind of referenced as something that happened to his grandfather,
or if that was actually like what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, because it really set it up to be like that. Because otherwise, it's just he whispered for him to do it, and he did it.
Yeah. Well, which also, I mean, I'm not to detract from you guys, but like it is sort of the point of what Creed's been doing. He's been manipulating mortals.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah.
But what did he even like offer him in that situation?
Basically, he indirectly made the guy wealthy because the guy inherited his grandmother's wealth.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Dreams of inheritance and such.
hence why it was called that.
Yeah. I remember. But yeah, overall, I didn't mind. It was a good read, so I'm still going to recommend it. It's not perfect, but not all stories can be Who's Phone.
Exactly. All right, so I guess that'll do it. So 2 recommendations and a non-recommendation. Again, depending on how you feel or how your perspective is on the story, and which one of our perspectives you mesh better with.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey, for example, is at the E stands for evil, and I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah!
Yeah.
And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. A shadowy place where we must swim around. And if you didn't, and speaking of, if you didn't write these stories and post them online for people to enjoy, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to mention that we are part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.